GL550. And what I'm gonna do the brake pad job. The brake pads I got from the dealer, a part number, as you see right there. I already replaced the passenger side, which has the sensor, brake sensor, which is a fairly easy thing to replace. It pumps in and connects to the harness and you're done. But anyway, that's my reason why, you guys, if your car says the brake pad needs to be replaced, or check your brake pads, and you look at our exterior, let's say right there, and you see the outside pad, it has a lot of meat on it, but the inside, and you can fool the sensor, as you see, don't have as much. But anyway, let's get to the job, let's get cracking. So what we need to do, we have to remove the wheel, and you're using a 17 mil socket to remove the bolts. To remove the caliper, you'll have to get the remove two caps off, which looks like this right there. So I'm gonna put it right here. So one on the top and there's one on the bottom. Let's see, right there. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm using this socket to remove the inside bolt. This is 7/16, but I'm sure there's a millimeter ones, but I couldn't find it. But it's pretty tight, and they will work as well as a millimeter socket. It's 7/16, and I'm gonna insert here because we removed the caps. So I'm gonna remove the top one, completely unscrew it out. It will not fell out because it's holding itself in that rubber boot, and so basically wants to slide out, but I'm gonna leave it inside. Anyway, came out, so this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna put this back in, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom one, which is gonna release the caliper. So I removed the bolts holding the caliper. There's a tricky thing. I don't really know the proper way to remove that plate, the spring plate. Okay, so what I did, I put the pressure here to release this hook. And you see, it comes right up. With no special tools? No special tools, just So what happened, this plate, it's holding your caliper on the outside, and this is the hooks that catches into this hole. So if you put the pressure here, it will slide the plate forward and release these hooks. So it was much easier with the clamp that we use. So once this out, we're ready to slide our caliper out. And basically what you do, you put the bigger, and you just insert right there on the bottom, and you just pry this thing off. And this should, but watch your brake lines. Put it up right here, and you can see the brake pads. The outer one are very thick, and the inner one is much thinner. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my clamp, and once again, make sure your top reservoir is open. Put the brake fluid, use the clamp to compress back the caliper on both sides, nice and gentle, but make sure your top reservoir is open. And I'm gonna go on this side. Of course I have a tool, but I couldn't find it, the caliper tool, but this was also work. Make sure that your brake, because that brake pad will trash, and we're gonna go all the way in. So we'll be ready to install the new pads momentarily. And that is gonna save you a lot of money from this dealership. The retail on these brake pads for GL550 is about $240, but I'm sure there's a lot of places sell them online where you can get a dealer discounted price. So we're gonna remove our old pad. We're gonna, of course, it would be nice if you would have a lubricant to apply here. I don't have a lubricant, and the caliper is fairly clean because car has a low mileage, and that's the first brake pad. You shouldn't really be touching the brake pad with your dirty gloves like I did. Interesting thing, what they have a clear tape here that you have to remove, and it will stick to the outside of the caliper. So we're gonna insert it like this into the position, put a little pressure, and we're gonna pull that bolt. That's the ones that were holding me in the beginning, so it's they are all out, and we're ready to reapply okay, the caliper back in. So next step is gonna be screw the backs of the caliper. We'll have to align it, and lastly we'll have to put the plate back on. All right, last step, we have to we have to install the dust cover for the bolts to hold in the, to prevent any debris getting in there. Then next thing is gonna be installing that spring plate. Okay, that plate, just basically with two hands I put the pressure and popped back in. Last thing is gonna be putting the wheel belt back on. Go to your trunk and find a tool like this. Not many people know, but the purpose of this is to install, to put your wheel back on. You screw this and put the wheel back on. As you can see, I have no bolts, and the wheel is hanging on that tool, and hand tighten the bolts, and job is done.